So this morning I started an adventure. I am off to Vancouver to visit with a fellow who has a 1939 McLaughlin Buick that was used by the royal family on 3 separate occasions. We're going to go have a look at the car and try and bring this back to a museum in Alberta called the Reynolds Alberta Museum. So I have to get on the ferry, leave Victoria, and go visit Vancouver. So let's head on. The trip was hugely important and political. In 1931, the Statute of Westminster was signed and meant Canada now had control over its own policies, and it wouldn't necessarily go to war alongside Britain as it had in the past. And war was on the brink at the time. The tour was intended to strengthen loyalty between the two countries and forge a strong relationship with the United States in their 4-day excursion to meet President Roosevelt. The royals had great influence and were the celebrities of the time. The tour was a monumentally important campaign to unite the Allies on the brink of a Second World War. Naturally, not just any car would do. The Canadian-made McLaughlin Buicks had been well known to provide royal vehicles for other visits as well as celebrities such as the Dion quintuplets, and was seen as the premier Canadian-built automobile, and perfect for the job of capturing the style and charisma of the young royal couple. And with that, I'm catching the ferry from Victoria, BC today, as it happens, over to Vancouver to go and visit Vern, the car's owner. From 1972 till today, this car has been in his possession and he's been caretaker. I'm excited to see the car, excited to experience a piece of history, and with any luck, try and find its rightful home in a museum. Made it on the bus. The ferry ride was pretty uneventful, nice trip, and I should be getting to see Vern in about 30 minutes or so here. I don't know what he's going to be picking me up from at the bus terminal, but I'm sure it's going to be something interesting. So with any luck, we'll see Vern in just a few minutes. And I don't see anybody waiting for me out here. I hope I got off at the right stop. I'm going to give him a call and make sure this is where I'm supposed to be. He might just be running a couple minutes late, so either way, I got to see the cool old station, and yeah, it's a nice day, so it's no trouble. Ooh, I get to actually sit in the car. Okay. Boy, I'm gonna be sitting where King George sat.
Yeah.
Yes, and here comes the Queen.
No, thank you.
So right now I'm riding in the royal car, where King George sat in '39, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mum, and somehow me, a guy from the prairies. Just so when I thought it was enough that I got to ride in the car, I'm actually gonna have a chance to drive it too. Woo, what a great day. Well, I've never driven a royal car before, so I better be careful with it.
First is down, emergency's on. Okay, so there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
So this car, being from 1939, it drives and handles very nicely. Brakes work well, it's a very smooth ride. Chauffeur would have had a good go with things, it's really comfortable.
Go down this way.
And this is Vern's friend Gary here, who's come along for the ride.
Hello.
Also a car enthusiast. And what have you found there?
Well, Vern can explain this better than I
This is
can.
the Queen's, I guess, powder case.
The Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, and this was by appointment, and her
our official jeweler made all this back in that time. It fits in the armrest, and what's in the armrest, there's one thing's missing. There was a flask, I believe, in there too. So I put in a deck of cards and a Bible. So that should be, you know, good for the...
Yeah, 1939.
Yeah, it is.
So what if the Queen sees this and she wants her powder?
The powder's still there.
Yeah.
So there she can come over and powder her nose.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, she says, oh, that's where I left it.
And we'll put this up just so we get a...
We'll make it all official?
Yeah.
Okay.
First.
Original upholstery in the front. The rear has been redone, but in the same types of fabric that it would have been originally. Just a gorgeous car, and nice to see it out in the light.
Some of the pieces aren't in here, but you can see how this here is what you see how that starts.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it starts pulling the canvas straps.
Yeah.
So that's to raise and lower the top.
That's right. Now, the very special tools made only for these two cars. These are to click the tops so that they will come apart from when they're in position. So that's a special tool just made for that. Over here, we'll show you where they fit.
They're called B pillars.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They go here. So that you would, there, like that.
And it's very tall. And now the height of this window is so that you could see the royals.
7 feet tall when you finally get the top up. And that was so the headdresses wouldn't be harmed in the car once they were inside.
How did you come across a car this amazing?
Well, I saw the mate to this when I lived in Ontario, and I was curious if there was a second car still existent, because I was told there wasn't. It had disappeared in a fire, and as it turns out, that wasn't the case. I traced it down to Victoria and the people that owned it, and convinced them that I should have it. Well, that's a lot of effort in that, but that's how it came to be. It's had many, many other royals and VIPs and everybody who really wanted to have a ride in it over the years. So it's got quite a story behind it.
So it's such an amazing and historic car. So you've been a great caretaker for it. What type of home would you like for it going forward?
Well, I would certainly like to see it in a big museum. There are a lot of people could enjoy its presence and the things that go along with it, all the collectibles that have to do with the tour and the royals of that day. Being an ex-Albertan, I would love to actually see it in the Reynolds Alberta Museum in Wetaskiwin. It's a place where I think it would be very fitting, and it would be well cared for.
Inside this little door are kept something very special for the Queen in case they started coming across some bad weather.
Yes.
They had their own special umbrellas. And are these original to 1939?
Yes, this is original.
An original one. So this would have been the Queen Mum and King George.
Even to the plastic color. Look at that.
Wow, that's outstanding that that was still in there after all those years.
Yeah.
Vern has also collected an amazing amount of material regarding the 1939 royal visit. Let's see what he's got.
Right on the machines.
There's the decal.
And so these are the royal family washing machines.
The idea of this is that people got on the bandwagon for commercials, everything to do with the
You
royal
could donate some money.
Ah,
It
okay.
was all to promote the war coming.
Look at this. Even the
serves very good.
manual for it.
Wow.
And
And it even has King George up there?
yeah. Yeah.
Royal
So
visit,
Beatty would
1939.
have got on every imaginable thing that you could do in a commercial. I have books just showing all the commercial items. It's fascinating what was done.
And you've collected a fair number of them.
Well, you'll see that. They were all in another location.
He's got a ton of paper.
Look, these are just filled with souvenirs of the day. There's lockets. Here's a tomato server.
A royal
Tomato server.
They really were like rock stars, weren't they?
Absolutely. There was nobody around that had a draw like they did. We're talking millions of people to come out to see them. I don't know what that is, but it's something to do with the royal visit. And there's also, oh, here's the money. All the 1939 coins that would be in silver and, right through. So that's a neat little item. Some is souvenir ware, some was given away in rolled oats.
Yeah.
That was, you know about those? You'd get it in cereals.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Progress, official guide. Their Majesty's visit to Vancouver.
Yes.
Buttons and pins and all sorts of paraphernalia. And
Yeah,
is the little crown a flagstaff topper? Or?
that's right. That's for the top of the flag, all gold plated.
Wow. Yeah, you wouldn't want to misplace that.
No. And
So tell me again, this was a phone book made for the king?
it was made for the people on the train. I'm sure he took his with him, but let's put it this way. When you're the king and you royal party and you're number one.
Yeah.
These are all the people. By the way, I have met with many of these people over the years, back when they were alive. His press secretary, the other people running the show, and Hugh Keenley's side, who.
Did this come with the car, or did you find it
No,
later?
I found this later.
And that's from the 39 tour?
Yes.
Amazing.
Just explaining how the train was functioned. Canadian Pacific Railway Company, and Coleman, he was the official head guy of the thing, but he wasn't really the guy that was really running it. He was the figureheads, but these things, like this, would be going on like 24/7, keeping everybody advised. And I think this fellow was the one that was responsible for doing this kind of work.
Vern has an amazing collection of paraphernalia, collectibles, and top secret government documents, all pertaining to the royal visit in 1939. And I certainly hope we can fulfill Vern's dreams and get his world-class car into a world-class museum. But for now, we say farewell to Vern until we can update more on this story. A great guy, and very glad I had a chance to visit. Check out the REYNOLDSMUSEUM.CA website and ours at CuriosityEdmonton.ca. And don't forget to subscribe.